I listened to a video yesterday where this guy made a beautiful speech about how it pains him to see Australia being sold off to the world. Obviously, it's a beautiful country with incredible beaches and weather. But it turns out it is all for sale and all the foreigners are more than happy to buy it. He explains his concerns so eloquently. He is clearly a very thoughtful guy. You can hear the sadness in his voice. I listened to him and could immediately relate to it because something similar is happening here in England. This treacherous Tory government has put our entire country up for sale and advertised it to the world. And now the world's rich are more than happy to hand over their money to those who had no right to sell it in the first place. And just like all the foreigners are taking over London, to the point there is nothing English about the city anymore, this gentleman sees the same thing happening in Tasmania. And it seems, to him at least, Australia will soon be Australia no more. There'll be none of it left for its own citizens, and that's what he fears. Take a listen.
Well, I've been cruising around some of the best parts of Tasmania the last couple of weeks. And look, there's just one thing I've got to say, all right? I don't want you to think I'm a racist or a culturalist or anything else, because I'm really not. I've travelled, I've done all sorts of things in my time. But the one big change I've noticed on this lap of Tasmania compared to nearly all the others over the last 30 plus years is the number of people from other countries in hire cars, especially Chinese people. I've spoken to a lot of them don't speak English. That's okay. I was going to say you need to look out for them, but they're in all the beautiful places, checking out the beach and the sea, and who can blame them coming from their countries? But what worries me is that it's all for sale to anyone. Australia has no laws in place to protect people who live here, to give people who want to buy land here a stake in the country. And the only way to do that is to make sure that only citizens, whatever colour, race, whatever they are, but Australian citizens, only Australian citizens can buy Australian land. Now, if we don't do that, pretty soon it won't be Australia, because it'll be, all the best bits will be owned by people who aren't even Australian citizens. I'm sure that's wonderful for the real estate agents, the lazy ones that take advantage of it. But for the rest of us, is this how you want your kids to grow up? Really? I mean, look how much beautiful land we've got. I could have this totally wrong. Tell me if I have. But you should have to be an Australian citizen to buy a piece of Australia. Surely.
It made me sad listening to that. He's obviously just a guy concerned about his country. He's clearly not a racist, a bigot, a xenophobe, or any other derogatory name they care to label him. Seems the globalist capitalists are happy to destroy their own country if it means they can make a fortune off it. Sell it all. Seems everything is for sale in their world. They'd hack their own limbs off and sell them if they thought they'd get a good price. And it is often bought by people who care nothing for it other than its monetary value. I'm not saying no one outside the area should be allowed to buy into a place, but surely you should be expected to show some kind of interest in the local community. People should clearly be vetted before buying into a country. As he said, the fact there is no laws against such madness is really quite disturbing.